Okay everyone, it's a brand new week and it's a week with no midweek Celtic fixtures. That kind of means we can ease ourselves into the week and look forward to the weekend when we're playing Kilmarnock. But before we do that, we need to look back at last weekend when we also played Kilmarnock. So yes, we've got all of that to get our teeth into. And we're also going to talk transfer news as well, because you may have noticed there's a fair bit of it today, mainly outgoings. So yeah, we can get our teeth into that. We are going to start though by looking back at Saturday and the 2-0 win over Kilmarnock at Celtic Park. I think it's about as straightforward a victory as you could ever hope to see from a Celtic team. We scored 2 goals. We could have scored several more had it not been for a mixture of poor finishing, good goalkeeping, I think certainly one good save, and the woodwork in that net we were shooting into in the second half. But I thought second half, plenty of good performances that we'll come on to. We did do the reaction after the game, me and Asim. So if you're looking for some incoherent chat from outside a pretty chilly Celtic Park, then give that a go. By the way, I did forget to give a shout out to the legends at the Tommy Burns Celtic Supporters Club, Portadown, on Saturday's video. I met a couple of the guys from the CSC at the game on Saturday, not for the first time, and I forgot to give them a shout out. So there you go, everyone. This is the league table, and once again, we are 9 points clear. That's kind of all there is to say. Another 2 goals added on to the goal difference as well. Pretty healthy advantage in that column over everyone else as well. Our next league match is next Wednesday, a week on Wednesday, and it's at home to St Mirren. Right, as I said, pretty busy, pretty hectic on today's video, so I'm just going to pick out a few of your comments. Malcolm McKinley getting us started. Oh, Hamish, very rude to use your phone while speaking to one of your guests. You know, Malcolm, you make a good point. You're spot on, and I can only apologise for... Wait a minute. Gareth Bale retiring from Wales. It's just in a WhatsApp group I'm in. I'm not sure. Not sure if I can believe that or not. But Gareth Bale's been good as well. Anyway. Where was I? Yeah, I use my phone during videos because they've got notes on them. It's quite difficult to go to a game and actually think of everything in your head and make notes in your mind and then remember it all. So come on, Malcolm, lay off me. I'm not rude much of the time, certainly not on the channel, I wouldn't like to think. Right, that's not one of the 3 comments, by the way. We do have Peter Chapman. There would have been 6 minutes at least added on in the first half in the recent World Cup. We got 2, a joke. Interesting comment actually, because it's something that has been kind of spoken about a wee bit over the last week or so. Opta analyst, who I think are just a kind of part of Opta that you'll be familiar with, released some interesting ball in play stats a few days ago. So this is what we're looking at here. This is a Scottish top flight in comparison with the top leagues in the Netherlands, France, England, Germany, Italy, Spain and Portugal. And Scotland, as you can see, is bottom when it comes to ball in play time. Scottish Premiership matches this season have had an average total length of 97 minutes and 6 seconds, with the ball in play for just 50 minutes and 42 seconds of that. That's 52.2% of the time, which is pretty alarming. No Scottish Premiership game this season has seen the ball in play for more than an hour. And it's even more noticeable when compared with the 2022 FIFA World Cup there in red at the bottom. Scottish matches have averaged around 8 minutes less of actual football being played. That seems like quite a big disparity there. I mean, 8 minutes, think of the amount of football that you could pack into that. Obviously at the World Cup, a big talking point was the fact that they were adding on so much stoppage time. That would have been a FIFA directive, given that it was the FIFA World Cup. it seems like UEFA is not following that. We're not going to see that in the Champions League, etc. And we're not going to see it in the domestic leagues either. And yeah, I mean, you try to think kind of why Scottish football is so low. The obvious things that come to my mind are other teams trying to stifle ourselves, and probably to a slightly lesser extent, given the playing style, our rivals across the city. I also just think a lack of willingness to get the ball back into play. We're kind of the only team, certainly in the top flight, who will try and get goal kicks going quickly, throws going quickly. You just know that the other 11 teams are going to waste, 30 seconds with the ball not in play and then put a goal kick 60, 70 yards up the park. And I think that's a big issue. You look at all these other leagues, they'll have teams trying to play out from the back. But yeah, some interesting stuff in there. We've got the lowest in play time, one of the lowest stoppage times as well. Now, surely, if we have such a low in-play time, we should be looking to add on as much time as possible to compensate for that, but apparently not. I have linked this article from Opta Analyst, which includes this graphic and also goes a wee bit more in depth on some of the leagues and what it means in the description, so check that out once we're all done here. Next comment, cooking with Chef Dai. Yes, Reo Hatate played wonderfully today. But what really gets me excited is that he's improving with every game, giving the ball away less, he's getting stronger and shielding the ball from the opposition better. Exciting rest of the season from him. I actually agree with the shielding part. I think when he first came to the club, maybe at times he was being kind of pushed off the ball a little bit too easily. He certainly has added that to his game. I think he looks as fit as he's looked as well. Probably getting that wee period after the World Cup off and kind of getting the summer off as well. It's had a big impact on him. I just think he's great to watch. That clip that's going around on social media that I tweeted about earlier on of him completely bamboozling, is that the word? Bamboozling? I think it is. Completely doing the Killie defender without even moving the ball. He just kind of shifts over the ball and then comes away with it. The kind of thing you would see someone like, I don't know, Ronaldinho or someone like that doing. I know Hatate's a totally different player, but he just has so much natural ability. The only thing that's I've found a wee bit frustrating with him this season, at Ibrox and some of the Champions League games, I just want him to do things a wee bit quicker. I just think he dilly-dallies a little bit at that level, and that can kind of prove costly. He kind of caught out on the ball a few times. So that's the one thing I want to see from him going forward. But if you're asking me, Celtic players who's got the highest ceiling, and I think I change this every couple of months, I would say he's up there, probably with Jota, maybe Matt O'Reilly in there somewhere as well in terms of the kind of highest ceiling. I just think Hatate's magic to watch. Finally, we're going for Tax Dodger. Cam Doon. FFS. CCV is not in the same league as Van Dijk. Now, this is relating to the comments we had, me and Asim, after the game on Saturday. I don't think either of us said that Carter Vickers was as good as Van Dijk. I think we're talking about his time at Celtic, and I think I actually said that I feel he's approaching that point. And what I mean by that is he's approaching the point where it's becoming a breeze for him. The league is kind of too easy for him. And I just got that feeling on Saturday against Kilmarnock. I know we'll play better teams than Kilmarnock, but even, going to Ibrox, he was one of our better players. And he's still young as well. I'm not saying he's going to play for Liverpool, but he might. Right, okay, transfer news. A fair amount of this centering around players that we expect to leave Celtic anyway, so no major shock. But earlier today we got a major shock with the apparent news that Josip Juranovic is very close to joining Serie A side AC Monza. Surely Juranovic isn't thinking of swapping this for this. I mean, surely not. Now, Monza are actually owned by former Italian Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi, a disgraced former leader who made scandalous mistakes and still, all of these years later, can't own up to them. So Juranovic should be going from a club with someone like that in a high position to another one. That was a wee Peter Law related gag that I couldn't refuse. I'm sorry if I offended you. Anyway, all of that is kind of useless because it turns out that the report we got this morning from the Daily Mail, Stephen McGowan, isn't quite what it is now, which sounds really confusing. Basically, eagle-eyed employees at 67 Hale Hale Towers have noticed that McGowan actually edited, or I guess updated, his article several hours after it first went up. The most notable changes were the wording going from Monza closing in on Juranovic to just pursuing the full-back. He also added another paragraph about Juranovic assessing all of his options. So I don't think the Monza stuff is quite as far down the road as maybe some people thought earlier on today, certainly as maybe Stephen McGowan thought. That's not to say he won't end up with Monza, but I think there's more to come on this story. It would surprise me if he went to Monza, all joking aside. £7 million as well, I think seems pretty low. Fair chance that there was some sort of agreement put in place when Juranovic signed for Celtic, whether that be contractual or more informal, that he would perhaps be sold for that kind of amount. That's the only reason I can see. I mean, why would Celtic sell a player right now who had starred at the World Cup, and even without the World Cup is worth far more than £7 million? But equally, if he goes for that, then that's on him. He can leave Celtic, go to Monza, and we're fine. I mean, we've signed Alistair Johnson as replacement. He's already playing, already looks pretty good. Certainly an upgrade on what Juranovic has offered for Celtic so far this season, I would suggest, in terms of what he's brought to the team in 2 matches. Not to say we won't miss Juranovic, he's been a great player, but if he's going to Monza, yeah, I find that one a wee bit strange. So let's see how that goes. Talk of Yorgos Yakimakis on the way to Japan. I mean, what's going on here? Urawa Red Diamonds are interested in him. I guess it's about time that we kind of gave the J-League some talents back, given that we're taking so many over to the club. Still think this has a way to go as well. I've not seen anything massively concrete on this. It all seems to have originated from one report in Japan. So again, I'll use my catchphrase on the t-shirt, etc. We'll wait and see how this goes. Finally, Stephen Welsh wanted by a number of clubs. Earlier today, the Scotsman reported that Croatian outfit Hajduk Split are monitoring him. We then had friend of the show Mark Hendry mentioning in a kind of Q&A on the Football Scotland website about MLS interest. That's obviously the United States of America. He reckons that Welsh will be away from Celtic this month, with at least 3 centre-backs, potentially 4, all ahead of him in the pecking order. Who could really blame him for wanting to further his career and play a little bit more? I would hope that if we sell him, we'd get, a few million for him at least, and would maybe have some terms included in the deal, perhaps some sort of buyback fee. I don't know whether we'd go for that or not, but certainly at the very least a healthy sell-on percentage included. So yeah, that's Juranovic, Yakimakis and Welsh. Without wanting to speak out of turn, I think they've all offered something for Postecoglou's teams, but I think most supporters would kind of be alright if they moved on. Obviously, with the huge caveat that we sign another striker. It looks like Cho Gae-sung is the obvious contender for that. Noises of Mainz in Germany, in the Bundesliga, being interested in him. They do already have a South Korean at the club. Obviously, the Bundesliga, very big on Asian talent in general, but so are Celtic. And on that topic, we had Tomoki Iwata introducing himself to the Celtic support online after he did it on the pitch on Saturday. He posted on Instagram saying, "Hello everyone!" ! I'm Tomoki Iwata. It was a good win today! I'm very happy with joining great club Celtic. I'm looking forward to playing at Celtic Park in front of great fans! See you soon! Hail, hail! He loves an exclamation mark, that guy. Yeah, we covered this on Saturday, but I'm really impressed with his kind of initial things. He hasn't even kicked a ball yet. Hoping to see him over the next few weeks. That Morton game kind of looks like a good opportunity for him to make his debut, even off the bench. Right, we're back with Jackie tomorrow. As always, leave us comments, questions for Jackie to tackle, whether it's on the current team, his days playing for Celtic, all of that stuff, and we shall chat to you then.